Alrighty. Hey, everyone. I'm Dykema. I work as a sales engineer at Quantcast. And if you're not familiar with Quantcast, Quantcast is a programmatic DSP that is built upon AI. And so all day, every day, all I do is talk to folks about our AI capabilities and how that can enhance marketing strategy. So I'm super excited to talk to everyone else here from other industries and to hear more about it. We're going to start off today with some intros, and then we have a little bit of an icebreaker question, which is, what is a fun way that you use AI in your personal life today? So, Danny, I'll start with you.
Sure. All right, hey everyone, my name is Danny Zhu. I'm the Digital and Performance Marketing Director at Jaguar Land Rover. I lead a team that handles all of our paid media channels, plus all of our digital touch points, like our website, apps, and all the MarTech stuff.
Hi, I'm Gaurav, Rajan, Director of Lifecycle Marketing and Personalization. My team manages all kinds of lifecycle marketing and any kind of loyalty and personalization MarTech initiatives that happen at Macy's and everybody else.
I'm Kieran, Geyer. I'm the paid media manager at Prudential, and I head up our programmatic team. So Megan and I at least will be speaking the same language. Should we do the fun icebreaker?
Yes, let's hear it.
Why delay that anymore? I think I use it if I'm in a grocery crisis to help cook. I've got 3 or 4 ingredients left. Give me a meal to make. If it's good, take credit for it. If it's bad, obviously I've got the fall guy of ChatGPT too. So that's mine.
Love it.
Pretty good. I had to borrow that one. I actually just went on a trip to Peru, and the entire itinerary was through AI.
Oh, wow.
I just basically asked, like, what are the best things to do, best restaurants, and it coordinated everything, flights, taxis. It's pretty amazing.
That's really smart. Yeah.
Mine actually came from another brand innovator event at CES. We were at a round table and everyone talked about their fun use case. Someone brought up that, do you know how much ChatGPT knows about you? You would have no idea. So I went back and I asked my ChatGPT to just basically say, based on the conversation we've had so far, if you were to take a guess at my Myers-Briggs personality, what would that be? Like the 4 letters you would usually get, and I got it 100% accurate. Because I'm an ENTJ, and it got it pretty accurately. And then I asked it, okay, so what would be your advice, based on my strengths and weakness in handling an intimate relationship? Not that I need that. There's nothing wrong with me and my wife. Just for fun. And then it gave me some really good advice. And initially I was like, am I really bad at decision making or work-life balance? Right. And then I went to my wife and was like, how do you think about these feedback? She's like, oh, those are spot on. I wish I could have told you that accurately. So that's my fun use case for AI.
Oh, gosh. I love it. We'll kick it off. So we'll start with Kieran. According to a 2022 study, 62% of marketers worldwide have integrated AI into their digital marketing strategies. How has your organization embraced AI, and what specific benefits have you observed?
Yeah, and I bet that, was it 62%? I bet that number's even higher, honestly. And kind of like you teed up originally, everything programmatically is rooted in AI. Programmatic, for a fun refresher definition, is the automated real-time buying and selling in the digital ad space. That automated piece is all rooted in AI. If you think about how many hundreds of billions or even more available ad impressions are on the open internet, depending on even more what the time frame is, you gotta sift through those so you're only buying maybe what's appropriate for your brand, relevant to your target audience, and how you sift through all of that in real time, because all of those bid requests are coming through every second, right? So if you filter those down, maybe to just the geos you want to run in, maybe it's a US only campaign, we want to ignore other bid requests in the rest of the world, make sure you're in a brand safe environment, whatever that means to you, and definitely with each analytics report that comes out, I feel like that's even more and more important. We have a viewability pre-bid filter, what creatives you actually have assets for, given what the ad format's for, all of those things to make sure that you are actually maximizing the biddable efficiencies that come from programmatic. All of that is rooted in AI.
Nice. And we found a quote from World Wide Web inventor Tim Berners-Lee, who stated, AI is not just heading for our industry, it will radically change the machinery we use in marketing. So how do you maintain the balance between AI and human creativity in your marketing strategies, and what do you let be the machine and what do you let be the human? And so, Danny, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, sure. I think it's always a good ethical question to think about what you should let AI take over versus, using the human wisdom and intervention. I kind of think about this as, because I came from the automotive industry, it's like how you handle the relationship with your car when it has that full autonomous driving capability. And if you ask different people, you get different answers. Like, I like driving, so I would never really just give up my entire driving experience to technology, even though I do like to use like the adaptive cruise control. But if you ask my wife, like, she hates driving. She's like, I'm not going to go to the driving school until the fully autonomous driving car is here. And it's like, yeah, it will never be here. If you think about the environment in New York City, like, there's no technology that can really handle that. So the way I think about, the balance between the AI and the human intervention is like, you need to have a clear goal. If you're driving somewhere, you need to give like the computer like a very clear direction. And then I think the AI can be very good at helping you stay on course, and trying to find the most efficient way to get there. But still, you need a human intervention, whenever there's like a detour, if you're driving Hoboken, there's so many like pop-up construction sites that you have to just, take a quick detour, and that's when a human comes in to help course correct.
Yeah. Love it. Kieran, curious if you have any follow-ups on that one as well.
I do have follow-ups on that. And again, back to everything I'm going to say is going to be through the lens of programmatic. So I think programmatically just talked about how you maybe set up a campaign and really bidding on impressions that are relevant for your brand or your campaign. The real-time optimization is obviously like the real benefit and where all of those buying efficiencies are coming from. So because there are so many impressions coming in every second, you can't possibly expect a human to be able to optimize those as quickly as AI could. So whatever your KPI is set to in the DSP, the AI is what's actually helping you to achieve those efficiencies at scale in real time. That being said, programmatic's by no means a set it and forget it channel, obviously. You do need a human element to also provide manual optimizations on a rolling basis there as well. I think a good example of that is maybe your marketing goal or KPI is actually a brand health metric, which are notoriously long moving, right? You can't optimize to that on a daily basis or in real time. So maybe just for the fun of this exercise, it's brand consideration. You can't optimize that every second. So you need to find a media KPI that's a proxy for that, and maybe you found a correlation between site traffic and then your brand consideration rising over time. So the AI is optimizing to like a CPA, driving efficient site visitation, but you have access to maybe on a monthly or quarterly basis the actual brand consideration data, and then a human being can then go in and adjust bits. Maybe ad group A is not driving site traffic as efficiently as ad group B, but it's actually driving more consideration. So maybe we are willing to spend or bid higher against that targeting tactic or ad group or whatever it is. So I think it's a combination of both there in terms of how you're actually optimizing your programmatic media. Maybe a negative example. I hate to be negative. Fraud is like always been, unfortunately, a big part of I think the programmatic ecosystem. If something can be gamified, someone's going to gamify it and try to take dollars away from maybe brands and advertisers where they should be going elsewhere. So I think MFA sites are a perfect example of that, or made for advertising sites that's been hot in the programmatic streets the last year or so. So maybe even, we talked about pre-bid filters before, maybe one of them is viewability. You want your ads to be at a minimum 70-80% viewability threshold. Maybe your ad technically is viewable, but if you're serving it on an MFA site, your ad's viewable along with 30 other ads that are also viewable. So is it really in the spirit of the definition of viewability? No, and that's probably really bad inventory you don't want to be purchasing. So again, that's where a human would come in, look at additional metrics beyond just the viewability percentage, be able to weed those sites out of maybe what you're bidding on. So at the optimization and even the campaign setup, it's definitely, I think, a healthy mixture of both human and machine.
Nice. It sounds very familiar to what we talk about at Quantcast a lot. The next question is for Gaurav. How has AI enhanced your ability to predict consumer behavior, and what impact has this had on the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns?
Yeah, I guess like for me, what I get really annoyed by with brands is, when you make a purchase, they for some reason will put you in a bucket. Buy some shoes. Oh, he wants to buy shoes. Let's just keep sending him shoes. I just bought shoes. Or, when you think about a purchase cycle of a customer, they're like, let's get him to purchase like right away. When someone's making a purchase, a good customer is making a purchase maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, to expect them to make a purchase within 7 days, 30 days, even 60 days is kind of asking a lot. So we've been able to kind of think through like, what does the customer actually want to see after they make a purchase? It could be that they want to make another purchase. It could be something that goes well with the shoes. It could be, hey, I want to learn more about the shoes. I want to learn more about the brand. Or even if it's like a beauty item, like is there an education piece that we can play? I think that for us, it's really trying to make that post-purchase experience for a customer be something that they want to see, what they want to hear about, what they want to read about, what they want to click through. And we've been able to kind of prioritize messages that way, right? Obviously, in the past, we've been able to like, oh, this person looks like this person, so this is a category that we should serve them up. But let's get to a level of, this is Gaurav. He just bought some shoes. He also bought some sunscreen. Is there a way that he might be going on like a vacation? There's some like different things that you can pick up on that obviously I would be able to pick up on looking at it at like an individual level, but that's where AI can come into play and really scale it for us. That's something that has been super valuable for us to not only figure out what the right message is for that customer, but also is there a category that we want to be serving them up that might be more in line with what they just purchased as opposed to what the same exact category that we're always serving them up.
Love that. We'll go back to Kieran. Can you discuss how AI has assisted in identifying new market opportunities or consumer segments that were previously untapped?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of any campaign, most brands are starting out with like a really core seed audience of known users, whether that's known clients, a CRM list, even just cookied site visitors. You have that really niche first-party audience that you kind of want to start with, and you expand from there, right? Obviously, you can't put all of your media dollars behind just retargeting efforts. So in data clean room, so it's 100% privacy compliant, secure, you can maybe enrich that first-party audience, append additional IDs to it so it's more addressable and you can scale it further. You can model off of that audience because you need to prospect new users, especially the modeling would leverage AI to be able to do that, to find users who look like your known customers or users who have been to your site, whatever it is. If you are probably also need to use some level of like third-party segments to prospect. Maybe you are currently investing or buying 4 or 5 third-party segments. You can do an overlap analysis and say these two are actually really similar, and this one's cheaper, so maybe I don't need to buy this one. So I think those are ways you can kind of find new users. And maybe this isn't exactly getting at the heart of your question, my second part, but my mic's charged, got a captive audience, what the hell, right? DCO, I think, is another way. Maybe you already have your users, but you're showing up differently, like right ad, right person, right place, right time, that saying. So DCO, dynamic creative optimization, you have your user, and maybe I feel like some brands struggle with this, is creative resources. You've been running the same 300 by 250s for the last year, and it's very old and tired and no longer inspiring, or the click-through rates are going down, whatever it is the metric you're looking at. So DCO would, the ads are still created by humans. You're making the headlines, the copies, the background images, the logo placements, all of that. And then in real time, you're using a dynamic ad server as opposed to a static ad server like CM360 to serve different iterations or variants of those ads and seeing what's most resonating with your user, so that, yes, now you found the right person in the right place and you're serving them a unique, slightly more personalized message that's been proven to perform better, again, relative to whatever your KPI is. So yeah, kind of twofold.
Perfect. And going back to Gaurav, in what ways has AI improved your customer engagement metrics? And can you share any specific examples where AI-driven initiatives have led to an increase in brand loyalty?
Yeah, super, retail example, obviously, because I'm in it. Something as simple as an email. People are getting hundreds, if not thousands of emails every single week. how do you penetrate that inbox when, everyone is screaming sale, percent off, last day? We've been able to kind of figure out, for our most engaged customers, when they want to receive that Macy's email, when they want to receive that Macy's push. So we're actually doing them a favor to get it in their inbox right when they want to see it, but also helping us with open rates, right? And inevitably, if they want to see that message at the right exact possible time, they want to engage with you, and inevitably that's driving sales, right? That's amazing for us. We've also been able to kind of tailor that and bring that over to our copywriters and give them tools to be like, hey, we have, and I hate to say this, we have 1,000 Macy's emails going out this week. Come up with 1,000 subject lines or 1,000 push messages, right? They're like, okay. Right? So how do we help them? Because that's like an unbelievable task, but unfortunately, that's what we're trying to do. We're hyper segmented, but that also focuses or requires a lot of content. They're able to use AI solutions to come up with different kind of, formats, different kind of verbiage, different kind of content, and able to put guardrails on it. And inevitably, these are, they're picking, let's say, 20, and these 20 are going out to customers, and in real time, it's determining what is really resonating with that customer. We're hoping to get to a point where we're able to get some clues on the customer that what are the words, what are the types of messages, what are the type of things in a specific message really resonate with that customer, and then able to pull that forward. So those are the type of levers that we'll try to pull. And then, if you think about it, how do you extrapolate that across every single place a customer is seeing a marketing message? That's where I think there's a huge unlock that we're kind of just now getting into. On the site, when you come to Macys.com, there's so many different messages. There's obviously commerce-driven messages like buy this product, buy this category, but there's also, hey, join the Star Wars program, join SMS, join welcome. There's also customer service. There's all these different messages. We can kind of figure out at a high level what that customer wants to see. So how do we hold their hand through that? It doesn't have to be a purchase conversion, right? It could be let's get them to customer chat a little bit quicker. Let's get them to sign on a little bit quicker. Oh, they want to look for a promotion. Let's give them the promotion right there, right? Let's make things easier. Let's reduce the clicks. And I think that inevitably customers are going to appreciate some of that hand-holding and some of that, I'll call it personalization, to inevitably make their experience that much more easier, right? It's already, one little issue in a person's or a customer's shopping journey that goes awry, they're gone. They're all right, let me go to Slick Deals or some other Nordstrom, whatever it is, right? So it's on us to make it as seamless as possible.
Yeah, giving customers an action.
Can I just add quickly to that?
Yeah.
I think both of you have mentioned about the importance of creative messaging, diversification, customization. So I think my team has been on this journey of creative improvement or excellence in the last couple of months. And I just wanted to share something real quick, going back to the point about how can AI help us uncover some unique audience insights to grow our audience. I think, we all know how important the creative is, but it also goes back to the audience insights. Right? And I think, when I first started, I went out to all of our partners and, asked how they can help us understand better about our consumers. And the answers I got are pretty similar from everyone, oh yeah, you're Jaguar Land Rovers, your customer tends to be those luxury auto intenders. If you look at their demographics, psychographic, they live in affluent neighborhood, they love fine dining, they like travel internationally, all kinds of things, right? But it's very similar to, let's say, a BMW X5 customer or a Porsche Cayenne customer. So when we go back and say, okay, so what's unique about our own customer that is different than just this general luxury auto intenders? So we actually went out to work with a startup company who's basically founded by a bunch of behavioral scientists and just PhDs in psychology. And they have this amazing product that actually looks at the psychological predictors of what drives the consumer to consider a Range Rover Sport versus a BMW X5. And there's some really interesting nuggets in there. For example, I don't know, how familiar you guys are, but I got so interested in consumer psychology and behavioral science. So one thing they found out about about, a customer who's likely to purchase a Range Rover Sports is someone who scored really high on locomotion. So locomotion is a psychology predictor of consumer behavior, and people who score high on locomotion are basically people who like to see movement towards a goal. They often value actions over deliberation. They're the ones that don't really want to spend too much time, evaluating every option. They just want to see movement. On the opposite side, you have people who could score high on assessment. So those are the people who like to understand the trade-off of every option. They spend time analyzing it. Right? So when it comes to car shopping experience, if someone is high on locomotion, they probably don't really spend a lot of time just comparing every model from each other, or going through like third-party reviewing websites. And that is something that is unique about the Range Rover Sports customer, and it's not a stronger predictor of, let's say, like a BMW X5 or Porsche Cayenne. So, and by the way, it's also a very interesting thing I found out that, my wife is definitely locomotion. She likes the one-tap purchase on Amazon. And I'm like, well, are you sure you want to buy this one? There are, hundreds of different car seats out there. Why don't we do like a research? And then I asked around, my colleagues, of all of those, who have significant, others, usually they fall on the opposite side of the spectrum. Usually there's one person who's locomotion, the other person who's really high on assessment. But knowing that, and that's unique about our customer, it allows us to think about, okay, so what can we customize our website experience or creative message to really help resonate our message resonate with those type of customers. Like, for example, if they come to our website and they want to build a car, we can show them a progress bar. We can show them, like 80% done of completing or building your perfect dream Range Rover Sports. That really drives the higher completion rate for them. Or in the commercials we run, what are some of the elements that we can, lean into more to highlight more of that, like take the lead, make the decision right now, go after this. So I think that's what's unique about, the psychological elements about the consumer behavior that AI can actually help us unlock. Because I don't have a degree in psychology. I got inspired by my CMO because she has an academic background in behavioral science. But imagine you have a team of 10 PhD in psychology that can help you analyze those consumer profiles and come up with those psychological predictors. That's how a brand can differentiate from your competitors.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine with cars too. It's so personal for a lot of people. So yeah, it speaks to that. How are we doing on time? We have a few minutes, 5 minutes. I'll open it up to questions. I'll leave it there. Anyone have any questions for the group? Okay. Oh yeah.
So it sounds like for your point, you have all these insights that you're gathering. How do you make sure that those insights actually get applied across the company? How do you communicate that internally?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we're still very early on this journey. Like now we have all of the consumer profiles for each of our model. Yeah, we're on the process to embed those insights into the entire process. If I think about, like taking the creative development, for example, you can have better insights to go into your creative brief, right? Because our creative team always struggle with, like how do we pull our brands apart from the consumer or from the competitors? Because most of the car commercial these days, they all look very similar, right? You see like a car driving through the city and then going off-road, to like a rugged terrain, and then it shows some of the technology, like the smart safety technology, and that's about it. So, having that unique audience insights going into the brief can really help our creative team find something unique in their storytelling. And then we have actually built a module with this partner to actually score our creative based on, if we have, let's say, 20 strong psychological predictors, it can show us that this current creative, how many of those predictors the message is connecting versus disconnected. And then we can, it basically allows us to deconstruct the creative and reconstruct it. Because oftentimes when we do creative testing, like in a media partner, you can easily get the results, which creative is working the best. But how do you explain like why this is a better working creative, right? If we do it in a human way, we have to test like red car versus black car, interior shot versus exterior shot. You can only control these elements one at a time. But now with AI, you can also test hundreds of different elements at the same time.
Okay, think that's it. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.